Happy Wednesday, guys. Hopefully you're having a great week. Let's dive into this midweek update, let you know some of the things that I'm looking at, areas that we need to hold if we're going to have a continuation in bullish momentum, or if this was just one big giant fake out and we're going to have more downslide in the month of October. Let's start off with the bullish perspective, right? Because apparently everything is still in an uptrend from a higher time frame perspective. At least when I say in an uptrend, it's more in a recovery phase. Obviously breaking all-time highs would signify that we're in a bull market, if you will, but we're still in recovery, right? Because we had our massive downfall, then we've recovered. This trend line right here has played a substantial role during that recovery, also even from a breakout perspective. So this trend line has been respected one way or another. Now, if we look over the last 6 weeks, we've had a sharper downtrend. So we're looking at a 2-week time frame right now. These last 6 weeks have been quite tough, and we didn't make a new low. We've held this support area, but what I want us to focus on is this trend line that we've broken out of. The key important level for this 2-week time frame over the next 4 days is to get back to this 1668 benchmark and hold that area. That's if we're expecting to see by the next week some massive legs up, right? Because we have the remainder of this week, then going into the next following week, we could see another leg up to this 1923 benchmark. That is going to be essentially the main area that we're targeting right now before we start to see if there's going to be even more uptrend or if that's going to be a full reversal and then we have a dump inside of November. But as of right now, when we look at 2-week, we've hit this area, did not close above it obviously, and we've retraced back to some. Now let's go down a little bit lower on time frame just to see what that looks like, what that's translated to thus so far. So we can see the sharp move up with a strong buy candle and followed by a strong sell candle. So there's some dominance that's still being established there. Let's take a quick peek at some DMI action. We can see that there's still bearish control in the sense of trend, but there was really no strength behind that, right? This whole move, although it's pushed out a lot of shorts and liquidated a lot of people in that sense, it has to come all the way up here to really have a lot of strength behind it. So right now what we're seeing, this could ultimately be a fake out if this my positive doesn't decide to pick its head up along with the ADX curving up. Curving down just shows me that there's strong volatility between bears and bulls, and someone's trying to establish control. Be in that position so that way when strength does pick up, the trend is already there. So that's what bulls essentially are trying to establish on the DMI. That's what it reads to me right now. From an RSI perspective, each candle has shown less and less strength, and it's gotten to a point where it's lost its 50 point. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's completely bearish yet. It just means it's entered into a bearish territory in the sense of candles, strength of candles from one session to the next. Now, if you look at money flow is in a little bit of an overbought situation, but it's kind of cooled down and it hasn't nosedive either. So the deviation here between the two, what that says to me is that this is essentially going to be a pullback, because you have a change of character right here, right at the literally the 1668 benchmark, just a little shy of that 1663, but then you don't have a pullback yet. So pull back to these levels, maybe even supporting here. I don't know if this is going to be a trend that's going to support. I drew this trend line right here simply because this candle opened and shot up and created that environment where we had a change of character. So this unmitigated area could come and get challenged. If I'm going straight from the wicks, if I go body to body, it kind of changes a little bit, right? So if we start to hold this area, hold these grounds right where we're at, then the next following session in the next hour, 7 hours or so, should open something similar to this and then push us right out of it. Right, that is a scenario that we're focused on right now in this current day. Now, if the day opens and it starts to, candles start to get stronger, the RSI doesn't flatten out and point its nose up, but if it continues to point its nose down, that means the candles are getting stronger and stronger. DM positive should cross over on a DM negative. At that point, doesn't mean that there's strength behind it, because we can come all the way down to this 1570s levels and still be in a uptrend, if you will, still be in that bigger picture recovery of over here, right? So we can still be in an uptrend. So when we go back down to that daily, We want to see that these areas are held before we make another move up. This is an area that I felt that could be retested just because I knew we'd have a change of character here. And sometimes there can be a deeper pullback down to these levels, right? So as long as we don't close underneath here, then we should be fine. But catching wicks down to this 1572, maybe even this area right here, that's okay. Now, if we look at a lower time frame, like a 4 hour, sorry about that. We've noticed that we have a shark pattern that we've been working on and actually been trading. And subsequently, wave B is right at that 1668 benchmark. It's an important area. I've marked out on these lower time frames, like a 4 hour through a 12 hour, what could be a flag, but also could be a fake out and turn into a wedge. I don't know if we're going to get front ran on it with these two wicks right here and it keeps moving on up. It's just something that I'm tracking. Or if we continue to get rejection, because we do have a change of character on that 4 hour, where that signals that we have more downslide. But remember, with your change of characters, we always have a pullback. So this could be our pullback to the upside. The pullback could go a little bit higher, create a fake out, meaning, hey, we're now bullish. It comes in, gets halted at 1668, and then proceeds to move down again. This 1668, guys, I'm telling you, is going to be super important going forward in the sense of decision making. If we're going to flip bullish and go and test the 1900 benchmarks, which are right over here. Let's go back higher time frame. You're looking for this area to be tested. This area to be tested within the next 2 weeks or so. For those to happen, we have to make sure that we hold on to those. Let's go back over here. We clip somewhere over here and we hold this area, then we can start moving forward. Now, if that doesn't happen, like I said before, if we start to lose these areas, lose some of these fibs, 618, we can come back and test this liquidity area from where we initially broke out of, which was this downtrend right here. This downtrend, same thing was for like this week. So if you laser in and try to find that snipe shot, typically it's going to come and test this area. What I fear, if you will, if we lose any traction to make a move to the upside, it's going to be inside of this pocket here, right? So from 1578 down to like 1564. If we get bodies inside of here and they hold inside of here, then that's when things get real dicey, because we have a lot of liquidity down here. And I think we can make a move down to here of the lower 1500 handles. Then it's going to be round two of bulls being up for trial, essentially. Like either you hold here or you're going to die. And that takes us back over to the higher time frame. Let's look at this 2 week again. Right, I'm projecting that we're going to retest these areas. I am projecting that we're going to break the support at some point. My theory is based on historical data, based on what the last couple cycles looked like last year around this time frame. October pumped all the way through October 24th, 26th, and then rolling into November. By November 1st and 7th, we were already dumping to previous lows from the previous month in October. Here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Where are you? Right over here, right? So we had a dump in September, very similar to what we had here. September, still dumped. Excuse me. And then we started pumping going into October. By October 10th, we're kind of flattening out. End of October, we've high from this right here, not a new high, so it's still internal, meaning it's bearish, if you will, from that structure. And then we roll into November. By November 7th, we had a massive push down. It came and tested this area here, so that's why I say it's important that the area holds to make this look ideal, meaning we would want to see a push up to here, maybe test this 1900 area, still within this resistance area, and then get a strong sell candle down to here, pushing out all these late longs that were here in this area. So again, just important levels to be monitoring in comparison to data and where we are currently right now. If we retrace, like I said before, if we retrace all the way down to these 1560 levels, you can see that this candle is going to change. So in the next 4 days, it's pretty important that we hold that 1668 area. If you guys have questions about the setups and what I'm looking at, or if you guys are maybe a little bit shaky on your positions and your entries and maybe want a second opinion, feel free to reach out to me or just drop your questions inside the class chat. Outside of that, let's have a fantastic week. Challenge day has began, and so I put the post inside the appropriate channel that you guys are going to be getting some more special treatment, if you will. So if you guys have specific questions to setups or on entry points or margins or anything like that, this is going to be the time for you guys to reach out. It's the 1K to 10K, so bigger numbers, bigger reward, but also bigger risk. So we're going to be managing this diligently. I would love to see you guys a part of it, and like I said, ask away. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.